Welcome back to BKL Nightly. It is now time to dip into the mailbag where Thad Brown is out in Orchard Park right now to answer some questions to see what you guys want to know ahead of this Week 3 Thursday night matchup against the Dolphins. So we're going to get right into it. Thad, first question here from Yin Yin Blogget on Facebook. How does the D respond on short rest? This week will really show if Joey Bosa is 100% healthy.
Yeah, I love this thought because Joey Bosa has been great through 2 weeks, and he even talked about it on Tuesday about how much he hates Thursday games, but he also said that he thinks his body feels as good as it has in a long time. So he feels really rested. But yeah, turning that guy around, someone who's been hurt a lot on a short week, will be a little bit of a test. As for the defense in general, look, the Dolphins always present problems with their speed. But if there's any team in the NFL that is comfortable dealing with this Dolphins offense, it is Buffalo. They know how to back up and keep things in front of them. That's generally what Sean McDermott's defense is about anyway. Play smart. Don't let anybody beat you over the top. Force Miami to drive the ball 10, 13 plays down the field to score a touchdown. So I think the Bills should be ready. You know, Josh Allen talked about how in a Thursday night game, you don't have a chance to do anything out of the box. If both sides are doing what they normally do, the Bills have the right antidote for what Miami's poison, their particular brand, is on offense.
Well, sticking with the defense here, we'll go right into our next question from user Irma Gersh. Here's a great name. You know, we were talking about these names last week. Here's a great name from X. Daquan Jones looks washed. Any chance Walker or even Zion start taking away more snaps from him?
Yeah, Irma Gersh is constantly talking with me on Twitter. I love the feed. We do a lot of interacting, but I got to disagree here. I don't think Daquan Jones looks washed. Is he less than what he was before? I think he is, and I think that's a part of the concern with this Bills run defense long term. But at the end of that Ravens game, it was Daquan Jones who made two big plays to help get Baltimore off the field. Not the forced fumble that Ed Oliver had, but still important plays. Separate of that, look, Deion Walker has not proven yet, even in this Jets game, that he can be the kind of nose tackle-ish, one technique kind of guy who can really stop the run on his own. So I think Daquan Jones is still going to get the lion's share of the opportunities on that defensive line. Zion Logue is an opportunity. You know, I think he's good depth. But again, you know, similar to Deion Walker, I don't think that's a guy the Bills want to put in a regular or important spot just this second.
It seems like a lot of these questions you've received this week are mostly about the Bills defense. People don't seem too concerned about the Bills offense, but a lot of the questions around how this defense is going to stop Miami. So our final question here from Todd Lewis on Blue Sky says, his concern is the speed of the Dolphins skill players. Thad, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, and they are dangerous. Look, this is a team that can, you know, take the ball out of the house with multiple guys. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devin Achane right off the top. And look, after a Week 1 game where they looked terrible against the Colts, they really rebounded offensively against New England and looked like themselves. Tua was over 300 yards. Tyreek Hill had 100 yards. He had a 40-yard catch. So this was an offense that looked like you would expect it to, but you haven't seen the wrinkles, the newness, the change, anything that really makes you worry about Miami as a group differently than what the Bills have faced before, and frankly, what the Bills have handled pretty easily before. There's a lot of new faces on the offensive line, but that didn't look very good. They gave up 5 sacks to New England. So, look, I understand the speed is a problem. And yes, there is a chance, especially on a short week where things can get weird. You know, maybe the Bills, for the first time in 25 games, don't win the turnover battle. Maybe Miami does hit a couple big plays down the field and makes this game tougher than a 12-point favorite looks like it should be. But end of the day, that seems like the very unlikely scenario, whereas what's likely to happen is the Bills cruising to a third straight win.
We've said before, it's going to be hard to bet against the Bills, especially with these first 2 games. And now going into Week 3, Miami seem that they've beaten a lot at home with Sean McDermott. So we will see how this one plays out on Thursday, their first Thursday night game of the year. So thank you, Thad, and that is going to do it for this week's Mailbag segment.